Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me. This is Marilyn Gale. Guys, before I get into the episode, I want to just remind everyone who have not subscribed to my channel, please do so now. Click that red subscribe button and also click the notification bell for further notifications of my videos and podcasts. So, guys, we're going to start off. All the girls, they leave Danny's home except for Sabrina, and Sabrina and Danny, they're cleaning up. So Sabrina's phone ring, and it's Calvin, and she instantly rejects the call. Now Sabrina says whatever is going on with him just doesn't sit right with her. So they they start to look up any information they can find on Calvin online. So Danny asks Sabrina, what's Calvin's full name? And Sabrina says, Calvin Rodney. Now, when she says his full name, her phone automatically calls Calvin. Calvin says, hello? Okay, so it's too late to hang up. So she says, hello. And while Danny is trying to muffle her laughter, because she know all of this was a mistake, the calling of Calvin. Now, Sabrina doesn't want to talk to Calvin, so the conversation is strained. After some small talk, and Calvin wants to see her, but she's making up all kinds of excuses. So Calvin asks, what's up? I'm not into playing games. What is up? You are avoiding me. And Sabrina tells him she's not avoiding him. So he says, okay, good night, and hangs up on her. And you can clearly see that she looks hurt. And so she gets her purse and she goes home. Now the next scene, Gary lets himself into Andy's house. Guys, Gary has a key to Andy's place. The first of many rules of dating is you never give your key to someone you date unless you have a key to his or her place. And then again, that still may not be a good idea. Because in this instance, Andy doesn't have a key to Gary's place because he's married. So Andy asks Gary, what are you doing? And he responds, I know. I disappeared. I had to go out of town. She starts questioning him. Where? Why? And what was the emergency? So Gary answers her questions and tells her something happened to his mother-in-law. She asked again, who were you with? And other questions. She's hot now. So Andy tells him, you come to my house at 4:00 in the morning like I'm a $2 whore so you can F around while your wife isn't looking. Guys, she said $2, not even a $5 whore. That's deep. She stops and she refocuses and tells Gary she is sick of this. And he responds, I know. Here I am married and I meet this incredible woman who gives me everything that I need. And you're so much more. You're worth so much more. He apologizes and tells her if she wants him to, he will go home, tell his wife he's leaving her right now. He'll get his stuff and bring it over to her house. I will. Andy looks at him in his eyes and said, do it. You can see he didn't expect her to say that, guys. He says, well, that's going to devastate the kids, right? It will. He tells her one of his kids have autism and major issues that come along with it. He tells her, I can choose between you and her, baby. You're the one, but I don't know how to choose between you and bringing up the life my children know. I'm trying to figure it all out. Andy looks at him in his eyes and says, I don't care. You don't mean that. Gary says. I do, says Andy. You make a decision and you make it now. I can't believe you're acting like that. This is Gary saying that. Did something happen while I was gone? Guys, he had the nerve to ask her if she was seeing someone else, Mr. Married Man. Are you seriously asking me that? She says. This is Andy. He then gets on his knees and asks her to marry him, and Andy tells him, you already married. That a girl, Andy. And he tells her, I won't always be. And Andy tells him to take that ring and leave. Go, Andy, get you some self-esteem. Now he looks at her and says, babe. And she says, why are you not listening to me? Gary, aren't you tired? I'm tired. I'm tired of your bullshit. Now get out. Now as Gary is backing up, he tells her, I love you. Gary leaves and instantly Andy calls her friend Karen and tells her what just happened. And tells Karen, I'm so mad, I just want to F him up. Karen tells her, girl, that ain't you. Guys, don't let somebody get you out of your character. So Andy, that's my little side note. So Andy tells Karen she has to go. Now the next scene, Sabrina and her co-worker Maurice comes in, Calvin comes into the bank. Calvin is in line and usually waits for Sabrina to be available. Now this time he skips over her and waits for Maurice, her co-worker. So Maurice asks for Calvin's ID and Calvin laughs and says, I've been coming here for weeks. And you don't know who I am? No. You've been waiting for my co-worker, so no, says Maurice. Now Sabrina is ear hustling to see what the both of them are talking about. So Calvin tells Maurice, so you think you can remember my name? And Maurice responds, it would be so easy to do, sir. Y'all, Maurice is being so extra and thirsty at the same time. Now, to Maurice's surprise, Calvin had already ordered for him. Skip that, guys. I'm getting out of order. That didn't come yet. To me, it just sounds like they're flirting. So Calvin makes his deposit and Maurice says, there you are, Mr. Rodney. Is there anything else that I can do for you? And Calvin responds, you remembering me and you remembering who I am is good enough. So Calvin is leaving and he pauses and he turns his head and says to Maurice, you think I can get your telephone number? Honey, Maurice gave Calvin his number so fast, I thought I saw smoke coming from the pen, y'all. Maurice was grinning like a cat that swallowed a canary. So Calvin says, I'll call you. And Maurice says, okay. Like he's weak and out of breath. Now Sabrina is hearing everything. And you can tell she's bothered by this. Now Maurice tells Sabrina, girl, he asked me for my number and invited me out to coffee. Are you serious? Says Sabrina. Yes. Do you mind? Says Maurice. Oh, no, cause obviously he needs to figure out what he likes. Now Maurice is telling her he can cancel and goes into all the excuses that he can tell Calvin. Sabrina tells him no. So Maurice asks, are you sure? No, I'm sure you can have coffee with him. Sabrina grabs her phone and calls Danny and tells her no need to do the research. Calvin came into the bank and asked Maurice out on a date. Now, Danny covers the phone and in Danny style, she started cracking up. Danny, Are you laughing at me? Girl, I can't stand you. This is Sabrina talking to Danny. Danny is still laughing and says, I'm sorry, girl, but this is funny. Sabrina tells her, bye. I'm going to remember this, and hung up on Danny, and Danny's still laughing. Now, the next scene, Danny is at work at the airport, and Sabrina's ex is at the ticket desk where Danny's working, and three girls are seriously flirting with Sabrina's ex. Now, he knows Danny is going to tell Sabrina, so he plays along with it. I suppose this scene will be important, but right now I fail to see the importance of it right now, but I'm sure it'll be important later. Now, the next scene, Maurice is meeting Calvin for coffee. Maurice comes in smiling like a Cheshire cat, grinning from ear to ear. They greet each other. Calvin says, okay, what are you having? And Maurice looks at him up and down and says, anything black. Okay. Regular? Yes, regular with cream. Y'all, Maurice is being so extra and thirsty. Now, to Maurice's surprise, Calvin had already ordered for him regular with cream and gives him his coffee. And Maurice tells Calvin, I must say, I am surprised you invited me. Thought you was interested in my homegirl at the bank. And Calvin says, I am. Child, you should have seen Maurice's face. Calvin tells Maurice that he is not into guys. And Maurice asks, well, why am I here? And Calvin basically asks for his help to get together with Sabrina, that he really wants to get to know her. Well, maybe you should talk to Sabrina. This is Maurice. I tried, says Calvin. Come on, can you help me? Maurice tells him, I am being challenged with you asking me here and not interested in me. Calvin apologized, and Maurice tells Calvin he never knew a straight man that would do something like this. And Calvin tells Maurice that his father is gay. Now, his father is gay. He's married to a guy, so he has two fathers. How did that go? How was it like growing up like that? This is Maurice. Grew up like what? This is Calvin. I grew up normal. I got teased here and there. Look, I just like people. I look at people let me get this right. He says, I look at people as people. And Maurice looks into Calvin's eyes and says, I've fallen in love with you. And Calvin laughs and tells Maurice he's flattered. But do you think you can help Sabrina fall in love with me? I think I can help you with that, says Maurice. Thanks for the coffee. You better be glad you're cute. And Maurice is still intrigued by Calvin's having two fathers and wants Calvin to tell him all about it. So the scene ends there, and the next scene is Andy's at her office. Her boss walks in and asks if she had a chance to think about that quote-unquote issue. Yes, says Andy. So you made a decision? Says her boss. Well, the client is in the lobby. So after the meeting, come talk to me. So Andy meets Gary's wife, her client, in the lobby and tells her she wasn't expecting her today, but come on into her office. And she tells her, how can I help you? So Andy, and that's Andy. The client, Gary's wife, says, this is terribly embarrassing. I wanted to come here and thank you personally. Thank me? Yes, I am letting everything out, and that seems to help. Glad I can help, says Andy. I don't think there's a mistress. And this is the wife. But if there was, I'm not going to let some horrible woman without a soul destroy my marriage. Anyway, whoever messes with someone's husband is clearly the devil, right? So I'm looking over at Andy, and she sort of kind of nods her head. and not really want to agree, but it's sort of like a nod, like I hear you, and I'm the mistress. But that's not verbally said. I'm just imagining what Andy is saying in her mind. Anyways, I'm not going through with the divorce. This is the wife. No, that's Andy. The wife says, that man loves me, and he made that clear to me. This morning he cried in my arms telling me how much he loves me and how much he wanted us to work out. Is that so? Says Andy. Yes, we're going to stay together. I have to give him another chance. And he also gave me this new ring. Andy just stares at the ring. Guys, it's the same ring Gary gave her earlier when he proposed. That lying dirty dog. Andy refused his proposal because he's married. So he takes that ring, probably couldn't get his money back because it was on discount, and gives it to his wife. If I can't, what's that saying? If I can't love the one how's that go? If I can't be with the one I love the one I'm with. So he can't be with Andy because she won't have him because of his shenanigans. So he going to make it like he bought this ring for his wife. Guys, that's the end. This is TV, but a lot of times art imitates real life. You know this has happened where a man has given a ring to two women. You know this has happened when a man or woman cheats on their spouse. You know mostly everything in this episode and the previous episode could actually happen. It's not so far-fetched. Yes, this is a made-up series, but circumstances, it's nothing new. This is some repugnant mess, to say the least. I just don't know what to say about men like Gary. And the thing about it, Andy is not a dumb woman. She's smart. She's educated. She just fell for the okie doke. What a dirty dog Gary is in any woman or man like him. So I'm going to leave it right there, guys. Thank you for joining me. I enjoyed this episode, I think, more than any of the other ones because it has some revelations in this new series. And I hope you guys will continue to watch because I can't even kind of predict what could happen. Because, some series you look at, it's kind of, they're predictable. Okay, we know this is going to happen. We going to know, Tyler Perry wrote this mess, girl. Well, I won't say mess. We'll see. Tyler Perry wrote this, and I hope he had other writers with him because how did he know all this? But anyway, maybe from watching other people, maybe from watching other movies and series, and maybe some of these things happened to him. So who knows? So for real, guys, I'm ending it right here. Have a great week. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend, and I'll be back to give you another episode of the Sistas on BET on Wednesdays. Go ahead, guys, and watch it, and then you can join in the conversation, and maybe you can come up with something that I clearly missed. So thank you. I'm going to say good night, and everyone have a lovely day. Good night.